you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there are only things that makes official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show is a family that loves you, but doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as the rest of the world. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today, we're going to talk with a young man about his books and all the good stuff that he does. Brion K Hanks is on the show with us today. He's the author of Tales of a Traveler in Poetry and Prose. His 205-page book with nearly 200 poems, including an 8-page essay titled God for an Interim Period of Time. Well, we're going to lead off with this book today called When the Rose Fades. And we're going to get into some of the details of Brion and all of his good stuff. Brion, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Chris. Great to be with you.
Great to be with you as well. Give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
So my website is www.brionKhanks-poetry.com. And Brion is Brion, middle initial K, Hanks, Hanks, -poetry.com. There's the book right there.
So give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside that book?
Well, let's back up and go with my first book of poetry, When the Rose Fades. Wrote that, actually published it in the year 2000. Mm-hmm. And I got about 60 poems there, and I shared it with a friend of mine who knew that I had been dealing with a family member who was dying, and we got to talking about hospice and whatnot. And so I became a hospice volunteer and did that for 6+ years. Mm-hmm. This poetry book got shared with hundreds of people, and I'm happy with the fact that it made a difference in the lives of people who were actually terminal and dying.
Oh, wow.
They found comfort in the book, and so, again, that was printed a long time ago. I still give copies of this book away, When the Rose Fades. Mm-hmm. The second book that I published, because I'm a retired construction safety manager, is titled Safety Under Construction, a book that I'm quite proud of. Mm-hmm. Because too many people out there are dying and being injured on construction projects. So I had a good career in construction, and that was written in 2013. And then my latest book, Tales of a Traveler in Poetry and Prose, was written in 2024. And this is the one that you referenced with the start of the podcast here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. How long have I been writing poetry? I've been writing poetry for about 55 years.
Wow.
And early on, it was during my days when I was not married. I didn't get married till I was 28. I wrote a few love poems and things about nature and this and that. And it was 1984 when I moved to Sedona, Arizona, and was selling art in a fancy art gallery, and had time on my hands where I began to write quite a bit of poetry. Mm-hmm. And that led to that book. I had... I got lost in my thought here, but at any rate, poetry and prose became a thing that I enjoyed doing. And so as a result of getting that first book printed, I knew that I was going to write more poetry. And so I began a process of writing and tweaking them and writing and tweaking, and came up with nearly, like you said, 205 poems.
Wow.
That went into Tales of a Traveler in Poetry and Prose. Now, that was published last year in 2024. Since that time, I've actually written another 200 poems that will go into another book. But
oh, wow. So you do have another book coming up soon?
I'm intending probably next year to publish that book. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how did I choose the title of my book? It's Tales of a Traveler. Mm-hmm. Well, I did quite a bit of traveling in my early youth. I was in the Merchant Marine for about a year before Uncle Sam called with a Vietnam War draft notice, but I was in the Merchant Marine, was over on the west coast of Africa and went to 9 different ports.
Oh, wow.
I traveled around the western United States. I was up into Alberta and British Columbia and Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that traveling ultimately came down to this. I consider myself a mind traveler.
Oh.
In my mind, I can travel anywhere and everywhere. And that's how the title of my book, Tales of a Traveler in Poetry and Prose, came about.
Oh. Poetry and Prose.
Prose. So, what are some of the subjects of my poetry?
Mm-hmm.
I talked about nature, youth, love, loss, death, and dying. And something that I've started using here the last couple of years, I call it right human relations.
Mm.
This world of ours, I don't feel it's the world is struggling, and I think that stems from failure to do right by our human relations. So. That's what I do. The speed of life is so swift. I mean, I'm 79 going on 39.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy writing the poetry, and so I continue to do that, even as I have more time as far as being retired.
Mm-hmm.
So
there you go.
Let me share with you, how do I come up with my poem titles?
Yeah.
Inspiration is fleeting. And what can happen is a word will pop into my head or a phrase, or I can be looking out at nature and a thought comes to me. I'm very good about writing things down as they come in because inspiration is very fleeting. It can be there a minute and then it's gone again. So that's part of how I choose to write poetry is I just get notes written down and then I get into it. Mm-hmm. Now, that first book of mine, When the Rose Fades, I talked about this friend of mine that got me involved with hospice. In 2017, I actually became a hospice volunteer based out of Bend, Oregon, in Central Oregon. I did that for 6+ years. And during that time, interacting with clients who were terminal, hospice clients to a large extent, their sharing with me often would be more intimate than they would share with their family and loved ones and friends and whatnot. And so as a result of that interaction, I began to write more poems that had to do with that. And certainly amongst the poetry and Tales of a Traveler and Poetry and Prose, there are poems that have to do with death and dying. It has to do with hope and just part of being human.
Yeah.
So my brother had pancreatic cancer in 1989, and as a result of that, our mother actually became a hospice volunteer.
Oh, wow.
After that, I then became a hospice volunteer when I retired, and thoroughly enjoy that. I know I made a difference in the lives of people that are no longer with us.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Actually, 2 of the people was in the last 4 that I was involved with. One was my mother-in-law, and then my own mother. And so that was certainly more emotional and whatnot, but I was happy to be there to help them towards their transition from this life to the next.
Yeah. I mean, those are definitely trying times, and being able to help people through them makes all the difference in the world. How do you come up with some of the subjects for your poetry? Does it come from that volunteer work and hospice care, or does it come from inspiration, or what motivates you?
All of the above, really. It's just, I'd even challenge people to give me 3 words, which I would then create a poem. And they were baffled by how good some of those turned out to be. But
oh, wow.
Just being out for a walk, I could be just sitting and reading a book or something, or just sitting and doing nothing. And all of a sudden, a word or a thought, a phrase will pop in, inspirationally speaking. We'll write that down and then begin to write poetry. So nature, love, loss, death and dying, of course, friendship. I mean, I got to looking through all of the titles of When the Rose Fades. And I mean, when you look at those titles, you've got to go look at the poem to really see what it's about, because while quite often the title will give you a good sense of it, but, like here's one, The Light of the Candle Does Care. The Train of Fear, Appointment with Freedom, No Parking in the Way of Progress, Content or Not, Do You Get It, The Future, If Not Now, Tinkering at Your Own Apparel. Be Who You Are, My Soul Song, Wealth Comes in Many Forms, A Leap of Faith, and on and on and on. Be a World Ambassador, etc., etc. Really, I don't like to use the word proud, but I'm very pleased with the poetry that I've written.
Mm-hmm.
And many people have gotten back to me, and they would convey, in particular, one or two poems that they really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pleased to hear that, because I knew that even if one poem in that book makes a difference in somebody's life, why, it was worth it to take the time to write it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
What results am I hoping to achieve with Tales of a Traveler? Well, my intent is to connect with people heart to heart and spirit to spirit. And it's intentional for me to try to stimulate thought with people.
Mm-hmm.
And be about right human relations. That's just become an extremely important thing for me. But if I could, Chris, I'd like to go back with regards to hospice for just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to take a minute here and read a poem I wrote called Soon I Will.
Oh, that was the one I was going to ask you about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I met Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who had a lot to do with bringing hospice to the United States, and met with her at her home down in Arizona for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And she had finally become the patient.
Mm.
And she said, I'm not long for this world. And so I, because of her saying that she wasn't long for this world, I then wrote this poem titled Soon I Will.
Oh,
so
wow.
let me read that to you.
Sure.
Soon I will travel at the speed of light, a tremendous journey, not a flight. Soon I will see those who've gone before, and then travel on to see so much more. Soon I will be an angel on high. To get there, I realize I must die. In my mind on this, I shall be clear as the end of my earthly life draws near.
Mm-hmm.
Soon I will experience my soul being set free. Like a butterfly, even still, I will be me.
Mm.
Soon I will go from the seen to the unseen, and shall discover this reality is not a dream. Soon I will feel my heartbeat cease. I am ready for my soul's release. For it is with this gift so grand, I shall take the great hand. Soon I will sow immense, unconditional love by watching over each precious dove. Soon I will accept my moment to depart, because I know it's simply my new start.
Mm. Wow. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
What a great way to inspire people and stuff, so that they can, hope springs anew. I mean, it's one of the things that keeps us around in life. It's one of the things that keeps us on our journey, et cetera, et cetera. So we profiled all 3 books, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure we got all 3 books in. And then anything upcoming for you that we want to talk about as well?
Well, I've got 3 or 4 kind of questions that I crafted here. If I can just quote the question,
sure,
the question, and then give you a brief
sure
response to that.
Please do.
How do you believe your poetry can influence people?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let me take a minute to. I can read to you. It's much better than what I could say. I had a lady who got my book, and she sent me an email. So here's her thoughts. Your poetry, Tales of a Traveler in Poetry and Prose, invites readers on a deeply personal yet universally relatable journey through loss, love, and the profound mysteries of life. Blending inspirational poetry, reflective prose, and even a powerful 9-page essay, God for an Interim Period of Time, your work offers both comfort and contemplation for those seeking meaning in life's most challenging and beautiful moments. With themes ranging from celebration of love to the heartache of death and dying, your book serves as both a mirror and a guide, helping readers to honor their grief while holding on to hope. Tales of a Traveler in Poetry and Prose will resonate strongly with readers of spiritual and inspirational poetry searching for comfort and understanding, individuals navigating loss or seeking words of healing and resilience, fans of reflective, thought-provoking prose that blends philosophy and faith, book clubs and discussion groups interested in love, morality, and spirituality. Your words offer readers not only an emotional journey, but also a source of strength and connection as they navigate their own stories of love, loss, and faith.
Mm. Well, there you go.
That kind of says it pretty well in terms of, what's there with the book.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I'm striving to inspire people in a positive and a peaceful fashion,
Mm-hmm.
With the hope that by stimulating thought, they can have takeaway from those poems that are about right human relations.
Mm-hmm.
That they can share with others as a means to expand that, and I'm talking about making a difference in the lives of people.
Definitely. Well, that's wonderful, and I'm glad you're doing it. So as we go out, give us your .com so people can follow up with you there and stay in touch with you for future offerings and products.
You bet. So www.brionkhanks-poetry.com.
Mm-hmm.
Brion spelled with an O, Brion, middle initial K, Hanks, Hanks, -poetry.com. My book can be bought there, or it can be gotten on Amazon. And obviously, Chris, your podcast is out to the world. I'm not sure how many people are out there, but I'm sure it's. Are you in the millions with the
millions of downloads, my friend? Millions of
downloads.
Yeah. So, we want them to pick up the book, of course, wherever fine books are sold. Folks, be sure to order up his first book we let off with, When the Rose Fades, and the other books that we featured here. You can find links for those on the Chris Voss Show as well. Thank you, Brion, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Chris. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks, Ron, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss. That was a crazy place to the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time. And that should have us out. We got to go.